Hey y'all, I'm Paula Deen, and I'm so glad you're with me today because I'm off to a bake sale with a basket of goodies. You know, I just love local history, and these treats are my way of supporting the national landmarks like the one we'll be visiting today. So here's what I'm gonna do. First, I'm gonna show you how to make a cake that might just be better than loving itself. And then there's my stick-to-your-teeth chocolate cookies. And finally, I'm gonna make the simplest sour cream pound cake. It's so easy, so burst out the beaters and heat the oven, cause we got a bake sale to get to. Hi, y'all won't believe what I have in the basket. This is actually a graham cracker, not as you and I know it, but the way that they were made hundreds of years ago. I was asked to donate some things for a bake sale for charity, and I said yes, I'd be delighted to, so I went in search of the best flour that I could find to make my items. I found a 200-year-old mill that is still water-powered and grinds the meal and the flour on the old stones. I think you'll be amazed at how it used to work. So watch. My old buddy Ralph Arenzo down at Tuttletown Grist Mill always gives me his best. I understand that you have the oldest and only operating water ground mill in the state of New York. Is that right? Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. It's a stone grinding mill, top-down mill, and it's the oldest continuously operating water-powered flour mill in New York.
Well, take me inside and show me what you've got ready for me today.
Sure, let's go. Well, I've taken out 4 different kinds of flour. 2 of them are ground here. That's the graham flour and this rye flour.
What makes these flours better because you grind them?
They're stone ground. It's ground at a little bit lower temperature. And when the temperature rises, when it's ground in a steel mill, that rise in temperature destroys a lot of the nutritive value in the flour. So these retain most of that value because they're ground with stone.
Are graham crackers made with the graham flour?
Well, our graham crackers are made with graham flour, and I have some here that I made today for a sample for you. These are Tuttletown graham crackers.
This certainly doesn't look like the graham cracker that we know.
I'll bet it doesn't taste
out
like
of the
it
store,
either.
and I can't wait to sample it. It's delicious.
Paula, what are you making today?
Stick-to-your-teeth chocolate cookies that call for graham cracker crumbs, and I'm making my grandmother Paul's sour cream pound cake.
Well, for the pound cake, you're going to need all-purpose flour, and that's what we have right here. And for your graham cracker crust, you can use our Tuttletown grahams.
Actually, I'm not making a crust. I need a graham cracker that I can grind up and put in the cookie batter.
That's the ticket right there.
And so this is what I need. That sounds great. Hi, I went ahead and got started without y'all. I'll put my favorite boxed yellow cake mix in the oven, and you can see he's pulled away from the pan and he's ready. This is one that we have more fun with at the restaurant. The name of this cake is It Really Better Than Sex? Everybody gets so tickled, and everybody always has their own answer. And I'm going to start by spreading just a little coconut on a baking sheet, and we're going to toast this. You'll want to be very careful because it will brown on you very quickly. It might not need but about 5 or 6 minutes. And while that's browning, I'm going to start the inside of the cake. Just a can of crushed pineapple and some sugar. And we're going to bring this to a boil. And while that's getting hot, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take my fork and just pierce my cake. But we want to make sure that when we put our topping on our cake, that it'll have some holes so it can sink down in there. And this is one of those recipes that you can just have fun with and make it your own. You could even come up with combinations to make a chocolate better than sex, or a lemon better than sex, or a strawberry better than sex. And all we're going to do is pour that over our cake and see all that nice sweet pineapple juice that's going to go into that cake where we stuck our holes, and it's going to produce a wonderfully moist cake. Just want to evenly distribute that over the top, just like that. And the next layer to go on is just your favorite instant pudding. And we're just going to pour that on top of our hot pineapple, and we're just going to smooth that over. So you can see how you can take an ordinary box cake and make it very, very special with very little effort. I remember my grandmother saying, "These are the greatest products." She knew how to take that product and bring it up to a homemade level. So there's a lot of convenient products out there that I truly don't look down my nose at, because they've made life so much easier for us girls that live life in the fast lane. It's ready and it's still warm, and we're going to put this in the refrigerator now and let it cool. And I have another one here that's already chilled for me. And before I go any further, we need to check our coconut because I smell it. And I think it's ready. You can see how it'll darken in some parts of your pan and not in the others. So that's why you want to keep it stirred. So while we've got our coconut cooling, we're going to start with some fresh whipped cream. You want to make sure it's whipped stiff enough that it will stay on your cake, but you want to be very careful that you don't whip it back to butter, because it doesn't take but just a second. We're just going to frost our cake with it now. Let's see if our coconut's cooled. And it has. We wouldn't want to put real hot coconut onto our whipped cream because the heat would make it fall. But this is nice and cool. So all we're going to do is take our toasted coconut, sprinkle it over the top, and you can see how pretty and special that makes our better than sex cake look. Can't wait for you to taste it and let me know what you think. What you say, let's try it. Ooh, I hear that coconut just crunching under the knife. You know, my favorite piece of a one-layer cake is the corner. It's crunchy. That's really taking a cake mix over the top. Is it really better than sex? Could be. Depends on how old you are. And it's even better when two people eat this cake. Next, stick to your teeth chocolate cookies.
I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break.
The next item I'm making is a rich little chocolate cookie. And the name of it is Stick to Your Teeth Chocolate Cookie. So, can you guess how I came up with that name? I've started by melting our chocolate, and I'm going to add a sweetened condensed milk to it. Now, in melting your chocolates, most of the packages would tell you how to do it because different chocolates melt in different ways. But this way, over hot water, is really hard to beat. So I'm going to take this off of our heat now. And see, that's looking good already. Now, I've run the homemade graham crackers that I brought from the mill. I've run them through a food processor, and we're going to add those. This is an easy, quick cookie to make. And it's just different from your chocolate chip or your peanut butter or your oatmeal. And I can't wait to see what the homemade graham crackers do to this. All right, we're going to add a pinch of salt, half a cup of walnuts, and about a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm just going to fold those in, and we're going to drop them onto a very well greased cookie sheet. The most important thing about baking cookies is that they be made all the same size, because if you have a big cookie here and a little cookie here, they're not going to cook in the same length of time. So make sure that all your cookies are the same size. And I'm going to put a rounded teaspoon down, And you can see that these are going to be kind of thin. But I'm going to work very hard to make sure that every one of these cookies wind up the same size. And did you notice there's no flour in these cookies, which makes them so fast and easy. We're going to top each cookie with a walnut half, just in case there's not enough nuts in the center. Now you can use pecans or peanuts or almonds, any of your nuts. All right, these are ready to go into the oven now. We're going to bake them at 350 for about 10 minutes. I've been just baking away all day, so the first batch that I threw in the other side of my oven should be about ready. They look very, very good. And we're going to take these off while they're warm and transfer them to a pan that's been lined with wax paper. And I'm going to resist the temptation because these cookies are best eaten after they've cooled. Let me check this one. Oh yeah. He's a little stiffer. Let's see what we've got. It's definitely a stick to your teeth. So good. And crisp and delicate. It's yummy. When we come back, I'm going to share my grandmother Paula's sour cream pound cake recipe with you.
I hope y'all are enjoying the show, and I want to hear from you. Tell me what recipes or videos you'd like to see me make by just leaving a short comment below. Now, let's get back to the show, y'all.
This is going to be the last of the items that I've got ready for the girls. And I've started my grandmother Paula's sour cream pound cake by creaming 2 sticks of butter. And I'm going to add sugar now. And we're just going to cream those together. And now we're fixing to add our sour cream. This cake is actually put together just a little different from the normal cakes that I bake. But this is the way that my grandmother said to do it, so this is the way I do it. So we're just going to cream that together now. And while that's creaming, we're going to sift all-purpose flour and a half a teaspoon of baking soda. Now don't confuse that with powder. This is baking soda. Okay, this is about ready over here, so I'm going to cut the mixer off. And then we're going to add our flour with our eggs alternately. And you always begin with your dry product when you're in the final stages of your cake. Let me reach around here and get my little scoop, and we're ready to start. For some reason, when you add your dry ingredient last, it creates a real smooth batter, where if you add your moist ingredients last, it has a real grainy look to it. So we've got our flour, now we're going to go to our egg. And just mix that up good. And then we're going back to our flour. You keep adding your eggs and your flour until you've added them all in. We've got everything in our bowl now except for our flavoring. At this point, you can use rum, maple, pineapple. You could use any flavor that you wanted, but vanilla flavoring is just really one of my very favorites. And you know, I can't help but think about the first time I really found out about vanilla flavoring. Oh, it smells so good. I think I was about 3.5 or 4 years old, and I was in my grandmother's kitchen when my little Aunt Trina came in, who was about 3 years older than me. She came in and caught me sitting up on the counter, sniffing the vanilla flavoring. And with her worldly self, she walked over and she said, "Paula, you really do like that vanilla, don't you?" I said, "Yes, I do." She said, "Well, let me get you a spoon so you can taste it." Well, I should have known something then because she was never nice to me. Well, she poured me a big old spoon, and I was sitting there like a little bird with my mouth opened, and I took in every drop of it. and I almost choked to death. I had never tasted anything so nasty in my whole life. So it really is deceiving. It smells wonderful, but you don't want to taste it straight up. I'm so crazy about vanilla flavoring that I always make my own because it's so easy. All you need is the vanilla beans and either good vodka or bourbon and you're all set. So we've got our vanilla in, and we're just going to make sure that that's incorporated into our batter. And that's it. All we need at this point is our pan that we're going to bake it in. Now you can bake this either in a bundt pan or a regular tube pan. You want to make sure that you have greased it and floured it real well, because there's nothing uglier than a pound cake that you've taken out of your pan and half of it is stuck to the bottom. So you'll want to make sure you do that real well. Okay, so we're just going to take our beaters out and put these aside, and I bet somebody will be licking them in just a matter of minutes. So we're just going to pour this around our pan, and I'm just going to rotate the cake pan until I've got all my batter evenly distributed. So we're ready to go in the oven now. We're going to put this in a 325-degree oven, and we're going to bake it for about an hour and 20 minutes. Now this one I've had sitting out cooling for just a few minutes. They usually don't have to sit for too terribly long. Like I said, sometimes when I'm in a hurry, 5 or 10 minutes is all I give it. But I'm going to just simply take my cake plate and invert it onto my pan, and hopefully I did a good job when I floured and greased my pan. So we'll see. I heard it. Beautiful. I won't be embarrassed by this one at the bake sale. I think we have to sample this one. It looks so good. What do you think? Looks perfect. I've got some fresh berries and some whipped cream over here to top my cake with. I love blackberries, and I love blueberries, and I love strawberries. Oh, he looks just delicious. Can't wait to taste it. I want to make sure I get some of all the berries. Thanks, Grandmama. When we come back, a few more hot baking tips to make your day in the kitchen a real success.
I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break.
I can't tell you how many times I've started making something, gone to my cabinet, only to find that this particular ingredient was not there. And that's sweetened condensed milk. So I'm going to show you how to make your own. It's quick, easy, and cheaper. We're going to take white sugar, powdered milk, 4 tablespoons of butter, a teaspoon of vanilla, and 1/3 cup of boiling water. And we're going to beat them until they're thick. And that's all we do. You can store this in your refrigerator for up to a week. What a great substitute that is. Now this one's really important. Always check for your expiration date. If it's past your expiration date, you're playing with fire. But the most important thing about bacon is check your oven, get a temperature thermometer, put it in your oven, turn your oven on to 350. If your thermometer does not register that, then you need to call someone out and have your oven calibrated, because without the proper heat, you're not going to have the perfect dessert. I finally got everything together and ready to take over to the girls to the bake sale, and it just looks so delicious. I've got my Is It Better Than Sex cake, my Grandmother Paul's sour cream pound cake, these delicate little stick to your teeth chocolate cookies. And I even had time to make an Old South jelly roll cake, just for good measures. If you ever need to raise money at a bake sale, I promise you, these are cash on a plate. So until next time, America, best dishes from my kitchen to yours.
Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.